Gods and Shadows. Book 1, The Pan. Prologue, October 25th, 1899. The autumn wind cut through the streets of London like a blade, scattering dead leaves in its wake. Nathaniel the lamplighter hunched against the cold as he moved from post to post, fingers numb as he struck his match. The gaslight bloomed, a small defiance against the dark, and for a moment its warmth eased the ache in his bones.
"Good evening, sir. Milady,"
he said, tipping his hat as Mr. and Mrs. Darling passed.
"Good evening, Nathaniel. A bitter night it is."
Mr. Darling replied.
"Aye, sir,"
Nathaniel said, already moving on.
"Do stay warm."
Mrs. Darling called back.
"Your kindness does more than the fire."
He answered with a crooked smile, missing teeth flashing briefly before he disappeared down the street. The Darlings continued on. Mr. Darling was tall and broad-shouldered, his hands rough and scarred from years of labor. The fine cut of his coat did little to hide the strength beneath it. Mrs. Darling, radiant beside him, seemed born for elegance, her red hair aflame against the deep green of her dress. She leaned into her husband as they walked, their shared glance heavy with love. Words would have cheapened what passed between them. Both whispered quiet prayers of gratitude.
"I do hope the children behaved, with Wendy in charge."
Mrs. Darling said as they reached the door.
"Wendy is nearly grown. I'm sure everything went—"
Mr. Darling opened the door. The house looked violated. Furniture lay overturned, chairs splintered, drawers pulled free and strewn like bones. Before either parent could speak, shouting erupted from deeper inside the home. John burst into the room wearing his nightgown and his father's top hat, spectacles bouncing wildly as he ran. Thundering behind him came Nana, the family dog, with Michael clinging to her back. Bare-skinned and shrieking, Michael let out a piercing animal cry.
"That is enough!"
Wendy's voice cracked like a whip as she stormed in, Michael's nightgown clenched in her fists. She was the eldest, her mother's fire in her red hair, her father's stiffness in her posture. She wrenched Michael from Nana and shoved him into his nightgown with rough efficiency.
"There, bed, now!"
For a heartbeat, she stood proud. Then Michael bit her. Pain flared. Wendy reacted without thinking, grabbing him and slamming him down. The sound of his body hitting the floor silenced everything. Michael screamed.
"Wendy, Moira, Angela, darling."
Her father's voice froze the room solid. Mrs. Darling hurried the boys upstairs, clutching them close, while Mr. Darling stepped toward Wendy.
"We trusted you,"
he said quietly.
"You were to protect them."
Wendy crossed her arms, her face hardening as her father spoke, questions asked and answered in the same breath. When he finally paused, she broke in.
"Why aren't they in trouble? They are the ones who wouldn't listen."
Mr. Darling's shock passed quickly.
"You are nearly 14, old enough to know better."
"The world won't excuse cruelty."
Mrs. Darling said sharply.
"You were meant to care for them."
"They pushed me. I didn't ask for this."
Wendy snapped.
"You left and played pretend adults while I was stuck here."
Her voice rose.
"If growing up means becoming like you, then I don't want to. I hate you."
The slap came fast and loud. The sound echoed through the house.
"You will not speak to your father that way.
Mrs. Darling said coldly.
Go to your room."
Wendy fled upstairs. The moment she vanished, Mrs. Darling collapsed, sobbing. Up in her room, Wendy prepared for bed. She heard Nana barking sharply, then stopping abruptly, leaving the house in unnatural silence. Wendy shivered. Wendy brushed her red hair mechanically, tying it back with shaking hands. What have I done? Michael, she thought. She opened the door to her brother's room. Darkness spilled out, thick and suffocating, as though the room itself were holding its breath. The air was bitterly cold, far colder than the rest of the house. Their beds were empty.
John? Michael?
She whispered. Something moved. A faint red glow pulsed in the corner of the room, slow and deliberate, like a living ember. It darted erratically, leaving crimson streaks in the dark. From that same corner came soft, breathless laughter.
Well, hello, Wendy.
A boy stood atop the bed. Wendy recoiled.
Who are you?
I am the Pan.
As he spoke, his shadow peeled away from his feet. It stretched across the floor like spilled ink, crawling up the walls and over the furniture. It reached Wendy before she could step back, climbing her legs, wrapping around her waist and shoulders, pressing against her skin like cold fingers. She gasped. Pan smiled. He was slender and sharp, dressed in a green tunic that shimmered like crocodile scales, with a hood he flipped back as he introduced himself. His eyes were luminous orange, almost glowing, piercing Wendy with their intensity.
We were playing,
Pan said lightly. John and Michael sat cross-legged on the floor, giggling. Their eyes were unfocused, their laughter hollow and looping, as though something else laughed through them.
What have you done to them?
Wendy demanded.
I've shown them freedom from all worries.
Pan stepped closer. His shadow tightened around her. He brushed his fingers across her cheek. His touch was warm, too warm.
I've watched you for a long time.
He murmured.
You try so hard, and look how they repay you.
He circled her slowly.
I can take you somewhere better.
He whispered, his voice hypnotic, layered almost as if multiple voices spoke at once, making it impossible for Wendy to think of anything but his words.
Where no one scolds, no one strikes, no one demands you grow into something you don't want to be.
The image of the serpent in the garden crept into Wendy's mind, coiled, patient, promising wonder while hiding its fangs. The warning felt distant, easy to ignore.
A place where you will never grow old.
Her heart pounded. This is wrong. This is not right. The hypnotic cadence of his voice tried to push her doubts away, promising freedom, blinding her resolve with sweetness and warmth.
Would that make you happy?
Yes.
Wendy said, trembling slightly, though her mind fought to resist. Pan's grin widened. He flung open the window. Night air screamed into the room.
How will we...
Wendy began.
We fly.
The red glow darted to Pan's hand. A tiny winged creature trembled violently, its crimson light flickering like a dying coal. Pan closed his fist around it. Red dust seeped between his fingers, glowing as it fell. A faint, shrill sound escaped the creature, something between a cry and a hiss.
Breathe,
Pan whispered. He blew the dust into Michael's face, then John's. Their laughter rose, sharp and manic. Pan turned to Wendy and exhaled the remaining dust into her face. It burned. Bliss flooded her veins, too bright, too fast, scraping away fear and thought alike. Pan's body shuddered as a low, guttural growl rolled out of him, deep and animal. The boys lifted from the floor, limbs slack, laughter spilling endlessly from their mouths. Colors bled into Wendy's vision. Her stomach lurched violently upward. Then blackness. Her body struck the floor. The boys laughed. Pan scooped Wendy into his arms, her head lolling uselessly. He mused.
That has never happened before.
He rose into the air, carrying her as John and Michael floated after him, tethered by laughter and shadow. They vanished into the night,